Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. I really hope you're having an amazing day today. I hope you had an amazing day today. And as always, I'm really grateful and thankful that you've taken this opportunity out of your busy schedule to come and spend time with me. Before we get into today's program, it's time for Connect Moment. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Henry Harris. This is Connect Moment. This is where us as a community can engage and connect with each other in this moment, in this second. So I want you to do me a favor. There are three things I want you to do as you watch today's program. Number one, I want you to let us know where you're watching from. It could be Chicago, Dallas, Africa, wherever you're watching from, let us know. Another way you can engage and help us is by sharing this program on your social media. It could be Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you want to share this at, make sure you share it. I think on Facebook they have hearts, likes, angry faces. I need you to hit those because that lets me know and indicates to me that you're watching. So make sure you do that as well. And number three, as you're watching today's show, would you do me a favor and comment as you're watching the show today? We could be talking about mental health, sexuality, whatever we're talking about. I want to hear your voice as well because your voice is just as important as my voice is. And I think that's what community is all about. It's not just about one person. It's about all of us getting together collectively to learn and feed off of each other. So thank you so much. Back to today's program. Well, voting is only a few days away, and you can feel the anticipation, you can feel the excitement in the air. It is electrifying what is happening here in the United States. And I felt like as we get closer to Election Day here in the United States, that it would be vitally important to talk about the significance of voting. What is voting? Why is it important to vote? And you know, we're gonna call today's subject "My Vote Doesn't Matter." Cause you hear a lot of people say that all the time. My vote doesn't matter. It don't count. The Electoral College, that's what they focus on and all. We're gonna, trust me, hit your brakes. We're good. We're gonna talk about that today because and at the same time, we're not only gonna address that, I think it's also safe to say that we need to show some sympathy and compassion on those who may not decide to vote, or maybe they're voting in a different way. I was talking to one of my friends the other day. She's writing something in. I mean, it's still a vote, but almost in a different way. You know, letting them know what she thinks about things in regards to the government or politics or whatever reason why she chooses to write in. So many people who chooses not to vote, they're oftentimes demonized or told, you know, such things. People died so you can vote, and you need to vote. You need to get up. You need to vote. And you know, in essence, I don't see that always as a bad thing. Trying to motivate and push and encourage people to vote. I'm not by any means here to discourage you and tell you not to. I will hope you did vote, but at the same time, I feel like we can't be coming down strong on those who choose not to vote. Maybe there could be a variety of reasons why a person does not want to vote. And at the end of the day, that's their personal choice. That's their personal convictions. That's their reason why they don't want to vote. But at the same time, we can't also come against those who choose to vote, who choose to use our voice as a vote to those things that matter. And I often say to myself, whether you think change is going to happen or not, if we vote and we care about the things that we say we care about, and that could be the border, women's rights, all the other things that we say we care about, I think this is the time now to maybe cast your vote. Thirdly, I am not here to tell you who to vote for. Some people vote based off of religious convictions. Some people vote off of personal convictions. However you vote and however you do it, it's your choice. So I'm not here to tell you, you need to vote for this person, you need to vote for that one. No, you vote based off of your own conscience. What type of America do you want to see today? Think about your children. What type of America will they be able to experience based off of your vote now in this upcoming election? It does matter, especially this election here. It really does matter. So people say my vote doesn't matter. So many Americans believe that their vote is meaningless. It's like it doesn't amount to anything, or that it doesn't really matter. If you are asking how much does your vote matter, that's a really great question, because I've had instances in my life where I felt like my vote really didn't count, or that my vote really didn't matter. There were times where I felt like it was just really just a waste of time. Like, why even vote? They're not going to count my vote. Like, really? Me out of millions of people in America, and they're like, oh yeah, Henry Harris voted. That's the mentality that I had at that time, until I realized that my vote does count. My vote does matter. What I have to say is important, no matter how I do it or when I do it, as long as I'm making my voice heard. And that makes you feel special. And this is also connected to, many people feel like it's their civil duty as an American to vote. So there are many people who will simply not participate in voting, all because they feel it doesn't matter. So why even do it? Some have said that with the electoral college and millions of other people voting, does my vote even matter? I get that. I get that it matters metaphorically as a symbol of democracy in this country, but I struggle to think that my vote really counts. Are you that person? I struggle to think that my vote really matters. I stood in line for hours just to cast my vote, but I walked away really feeling like, will it even matter? Or maybe some of you are watching now, like, will politics even change? Will the energy around of what's going on right now in the political realm, will it change? Will it change for me? I've been there. I know what that feels like. So no judgment to those who believe and how to those views. No judgment to you, because I had similar views as well in the past, until I realized the power of the vote, the power of my vote, and the full purpose of my vote. As much of the nation focuses, or as the nation focuses on their voting plans, there are also many Americans who skip going to the polls. And everyone has their reasons. But what are some common reasons why people choose not to vote? I think I listed about 7 reasons. I'm sure there's more. Number 1, they feel that most politicians are not being truthful. Most politicians are not being truthful. They say the right things, but don't hold their part once they're in office. Have you felt that way before about a particular politician? They're saying all these wonderful things, all these wonderful sound bites, just to get in office. And once they get in there, they don't really accomplish or fulfill what they say they're going to do for the American people. This may be something that they've seen happen in the past with previous presidential candidates, Or like, you know what? Why even put my vote in? Because they're just trying to reel me in, so to speak. And once they get my vote and once they get in there, they don't do anything that they say they're going to do. Number two, they have very little trust or to no trust in the power of the government. They just don't. Number three, some people feel like voting is just simply a waste of time. Now that's something I would disagree with. I don't think it's a waste of time to vote. I think it's our civil duty to vote. But at the same time, I don't criticize people who do not vote. I'm going a little deeper in that here in a second. Just wait for it. Number four, some people think their vote doesn't matter because some are convinced that it is already pre-planned who will be the next president. Some people hold to those type of thoughts. I don't need to vote because they've already got it set up. The government already got it set up who's going to be the next president. So why do I even need to vote? Number five, disillusionment with politics, division, tension, and confusion. Do we see that going on right now? A lot of people will not vote simply for that reason. Because they say it's too much tension, it's too much confusion. That comes with anything in life. Life in itself can be confusion and tension and division. So number six, they feel that all candidates are the same. I'm here to tell you that they're not. You can look at even the two candidates that we have now, Trump and Harris. You can look at both of them and you can kind of make a distinct contrast difference on both of the candidates, whether it's their personality, whether it's how they answer questions, whether it's their demeanor, how they deal with people, different things like that. I don't believe every candidate is the same, but some people will say they're all the same. They're all the same. And they're not the same. Like I said, it's like light and darkness. It's like night and day. Like you can look and tell like, no, there's a difference between these two. But you vote your conscience. You vote the way you're comfortable in voting. Number seven, some people don't vote because they feel like the system is broken. That there's no particular person that can be in the White House that can actually fix the problem. They feel like it's not fixable. They feel like it's broken. So these among many other reasons, which some of them could be valid. I can understand some of these approach. Once again, I've had similar views or beliefs too. Like, why even get involved? Why even vote if this is what I really believe about voting? Nothing will really change. That's the way some people think. I no longer hold to that perspective anymore. And while I don't fully understand it all, I now view voting as a privilege. Do you? I don't understand politics. I'm not a politician. I fully don't understand the two, Trump and Harris and all this. I don't, it's kind of clouded to me. I do understand in a sense, but in a sense I don't. I'm talking about overall, not just those two. But one thing I do understand is the power of my vote, the power of my voice. So who you are voting for is your individual right. This show isn't about who you're voting for, but addressing the importance and the power of voting. You may watch this and say, well, Henry, there's nothing you can say to change my mind. I am not voting. And if you're that person, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to say you need to vote. I would encourage you to vote, but I'm not going to push that on you. At the end of the day, that's your personal decision. Get in your car, go down to wherever you go down to, stand in that line and vote and cast your ballot. So I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to change your perspective. If that is your perspective, I totally understand and I respect your perspective. I'm not trying to change your mind. However, I think it's important that we at least try to get an understanding of the origin of voting and how it all came about. Now, these are some things that you probably already know, but I want to address it right quick. Some things that you may not have known about voting, and I think you'll find it very important. Number one, you have the power to decide elections at the local and federal levels. Make your voice heard. Number two, there's a thing called voter suppression. Voter suppression is a strategy used to influence the outcome of an election by discouraging and preventing specific groups of people from voting. Don't you be part of voter suppression at all. Number three, the 19th Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees that the right to vote cannot be denied or abridged by the federal government or any state on the basis of sex. It was ratified on August the 18th, 1920, after decades of campaigning, protesting, writing, lobbying, and civil disobedience by women's suffrage supporters. Did you even know that at one time women didn't even have the right or privilege to vote? Now women can vote. I know there's a lot of women right now that's probably watching. There's a lot of stuff in the air about women's rights, and I support all of that. I don't think the government should be deciding what a woman should do with her body or whatever that the case may be. So if you're that woman or if you're that person, this may be an opportunity for you to vote. Vote for the candidate that fits your views and fits your convictions. But at one time, women were not allowed to vote. Number four, when you vote, it gives you a say on an important issue that affects you, from roads to recycling to education, climate change, housing, employment. When you vote, you're pretty much putting your voice into it. You're saying these are issues, like I said, it don't matter what it is, these are issues that matters to me, and because it matters to me, I want to vote because I want to make a change, I want to make a difference. Number five, if you don't vote, you don't really have much of a voice. So what I mean by that is there are a lot of people that complain about the policies that may be in place and the changes that they would like to see. But when you ask them, did you vote? They'll say, no. Well, if you want change, you just simply have to participate. What does that look like? You have to get involved. You can't sit there and say, well, I can't believe they're doing it. I can't believe they're doing that. And then you ask them, well, did you vote? No, I didn't vote. Well, do you really even have a say in the matter? Because you didn't really get involved. This is your opportunity right now. Election day is 3 days away from this show. It's filming tonight. This is your opportunity right now to get involved. Some people have already done early voting. Some people are going to probably vote November the 5th during election day. This is your opportunity to get involved right now. Number six, voting is the most effective way to make your voice heard on the issues that matters to you most. No matter what those issues are, I am voting because I want to protect women's rights. I'm using this for an example. I am voting because of the border. I am voting because of immigration. I am voting because of this policy or that policy. I don't like how they're doing this. I don't like how they're doing that. These are the changes I would like to see them make. If these are the questions and things you got going on in your mind, no matter what side you're on, liberal, independent, Democrat, Republican, whatever matters to you, this is your opportunity to make your voice heard. Number seven, did you even know this? White men aged 21 and older who own property were given the right to vote in the year 1776. The 15th Amendment, watch this, the 15th Amendment to the Constitution removed racial barriers to voting in 1870. But states continued to practice voter discrimination and continued to deny black voters a chance to participate in the election. Did you know that? The right to vote was extended to white women in 1920. We just talked about that. It wasn't until 1965, listen to this, after years of intimidation and murders, I'm talking about the importance of voting, and murders and advocacy, that the path to the voting booth was cleared for black people with the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965. I'm educating you today. So people say my vote don't matter. Look at all the things that has happened that led us to this point. There's no way I can say my vote doesn't matter. I think it does matter. Just 8 days after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led a peaceful civil rights march in Selma, Alabama, President Johnson announced his intentions to pass a federal voting rights act to ensure that no federal or state or local government could in any way impede people from voting because of their race. Think about this, 1965, that was not too long ago. He signed the Voting Rights Act into law later that year, banning racial discriminatory practices in voting, including literacy tests. Wow. You think about 1965, that was not too long ago. That was not too long ago. That's why I say it's our civil duty, especially as black people. It's our privilege. Women that's watching me now, it's your privilege. It doesn't matter how strong your opinions are, Dr. Coretta Scott King says. If you don't use your power for positive change, you are indeed part of the problem. This is why it's important to vote. And I'm sure there's so much more information to voting from the little that I've shared with you today. But for me, just knowing that blacks didn't really get the right to vote at a certain time, that's enough to motivate me to get out there and vote. And after all, this is the research that I've looked up. I would encourage you to do your own research and dig a little bit deeper into voting. Because after all, ultimately, your vote does matter. It's time to connect. Make sure you follow me on youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. You can also look us up on facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show. We'll see you next week. And I want to say to everyone that's voting, thank you for making your voice heard. To those that are not voting, I want to say I appreciate you as well. No animosity towards you, from me to you. I'm just here just as the messenger. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.